The 2 Count, where comedy meets wrestling. Please comment, share, and like, and if you're watching the live stream, join us with your comments and questions. And now here are the hosts of the 2 Count, comedian John Russell, and wrestling broadcaster Big Ace.
Hey, buddy, good to see you this evening.
Hello.
How are you?
Man, I'm all right. It's been a long day. It's been a long few weeks.
It's been a long. This has been a long year.
It really has, man. I'm getting to my wits' ends with this COVID stuff. I really am. But it is what it is. Like we gotta keep going. We can't.
Well, unfortunately, it's getting worse.
I know, which is dumbfounds me. And I mean, anybody watching, we don't know where you're at, but we're in Minnesota, so I assume there's a good chunk of people in Minnesota watching us. The announcements that came out today and people losing their mind over it, and I'm just like, this makes sense though.
Yeah.
I actually saw someone be like, oh yeah, the governor and his college professor scientist, like trying to make fun of him, being like, oh, why are we going to listen to this guy? What's he know? He's just a college professor that teaches science. And it's like, the guy probably knows more than you, even if he's just a college science professor. Like, shut up.
Yeah, I'll tell you, it's interesting to me because as our world goes on, and this is, I blame a lot of this on social media. Because a lot of people it's like, oh, you can look up whatever you want to look up on the internet. Doesn't mean it's true. But you can just look up whatever you want to. And you can find all sorts of idiotic things that may or may not be true, but it's up to you to decide whether it is. And to give you an idea, when I went to college, I went to the University of Iowa back in 1984. I took a astrology class, or astronomy. Astrology is the horoscopes. I didn't take a horoscope class.
Oh, that'd have been awesome if you did.
If I did, I'd be really good at it.
The show would have been like, so Libra?
You're Libra leaning towards aspirin. I don't know, whatever they are. But anyway, point being that I took this astronomy class. And the professor's name was James Van Allen. And James Van Allen, while I was taking the course, discovered some belts around one of the planets. And they're actually named after him. And he is, it was a huge deal. And it would be like me saying, well, I can look at the stars with a telescope. And it's just that now, I mean, it's like, and I go through this, it's like, there's just so much garbage and misinformation in our entire world that it's makes it very, very difficult.
It does. Yeah, I mean, man. I don't mind it though, man. Like, I mean, so you can't go drinking after 10 for a little while, like, drink at home, you'll be fine. And
it's good.
I do feel bad for the businesses because they are going to be the ones that do suffer. But at the end of the day, too, I mean, people's health does need to be priority. But
see, the problem is, and not to get political, but it's a fine line because you can be open till midnight. There's some people that are going to go, and there's some people that won't go because they're just not comfortable. And I mean, that's I have this argument all the time. As a business owner, I understand. As a guy that goes out and makes money when these businesses are open, I'd like them to be open. But the other part of the other side of that coin is that I've done shows where people just don't show up because they don't want to.
I've seen the restrictions on like the weddings and stuff too. And I mean, I've done that for years. I've been a wedding DJ for way too many years, which I actually am not going to do anymore. Thank God. Yeah. I'm so excited about it. But yeah, like, I know how people were like upset, like we should be able to have our reception, but as someone who's done that, like, oh, like receptions aren't safe. Do you see what you all do at receptions? And as a DJ, I don't feel safe.
Yeah. Well, anyway, all right. So that's all of that business, and whatever.
You got going on behind you.
So this is a game. This is Royal Rumble, and apparently. I was watching
a Royal Rumble game, or is it one of the WWE like 2Ks?
I believe I'm not sure. It might be the Royal, because here's the thing. It looks like they are allowed to change some of the characters, like they had Kane 2000.
Oh yeah, you can like buy downloadable characters, or you can unlock them, and you can get like, I have 2K18, right? Was 20 the crap one, or was 19 the crap one?
I think 19 was the crap one.
19 was good. So I have 2K18, and like you can unlock like different years of like Vince and like The Rock and Austin and Kane and Taker. It's pretty cool. It's funny. First of all, you gotta believe. Yeah, amazing that. I love that tattoo's out while you're on right now. Did you see that AEW made their announcements for their games today? Did you see this? I didn't see this.
No, I didn't. I knew that it was coming out today, but I didn't watch it because I had a bunch of other stuff I had to do today.
Yeah, I just forgot, so I didn't watch it. Plus, I'm not a gamer. Like, I'm just not a big gamer. I don't tune in for stuff like that when it's gaming, because I just, like I said, I got a PlayStation I bought right at the beginning of the pandemic. I have 4 games. FIFA, NFL, WWE, and then like the freaking, I don't even remember, Far Cry game. 2 of them. And I'm still like a quarter away through Far Cry. I've completed 1 season on Madden. I've barely played FIFA, and I've gotten like quarter away into my career mode on W. Like, I just don't play video games. Every time I ever buy, I end up selling it. I saw some screen grabs from the games, and I don't know, because it sounded like they announced 3 different things. It sounded like a mobile game, a console game, and something else.
Like some trading card game, I think.
Okay, yeah, that might be it. And I saw some screen grabs, but I don't know if they were from the app game or if they're going to be from the actual video game. I don't know. I'm not a big gamer. I'm seeing what's behind you. I like that. That looks pretty decently good.
Yeah.
Like, real. I don't know, son, with the photos I saw, it looked wonky to me a little bit. Maybe I'm wrong. If anybody's watching and they're really big gamers and you guys caught the AEW video game announcement today, I guess let us know. But to me, the screen grabs I saw, I was just kind of like, hey man, Kenny Omega looks weird. Like,
that's like,
it was like bigger than everything.
That's like, yeah, that's like back in WCW days. It was, and it depended on what console it was on too. Because like, I remember WCW NWO on N64, it just looked like ass. But on PlayStation, it was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of it depends on what they're available for. And honestly, I was playing Nintendo 64 on my son's TV, and the screen rise was way too high, and it just looked like shit.
Yeah.
It's like, I remember when that used to look good, and it was like, no, doesn't now. Right. But we were playing Mario Party, and they were getting lit, and I just recalled how brutal that goddamn game is. Yeah, that game. Now the new one that they have that I play with my grandson, they've totally pussified it because nobody wants to get mad, right? But I remember that game. We were playing that shit, and it's like, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah, dude. And I my roommates during the Mario Party games, so like we'd get drunk and play that, and there'd be fights.
Dude, you're like, you fuck.
Yeah, man. It'd get to be like Monopoly type, where you're just like throwing money on the board, like, screw this shit. This is not fair. Like, oh
yeah.
Man. Yeah, it'd get bad, dude. I love Mario Party though. It was so much fun.
It is
so much fun. Yeah, so it'll be interesting, I guess, to see what they do with these games, because I haven't. Not a big gamer. I didn't pay too much attention to it. We talked about it, I think, last week on the show or 2 weeks ago, whenever it came out that they made that channel, the YouTube AEW Games channel. Like, okay, well, there's an announcement coming. So,
yeah.
I wonder why they didn't do it. I guess whatever, they want to bring people to that channel. But I was going to say, why didn't they just do that during Full Gear?
Because it's all marketing. I mean, we can bring people to our different pages.
Right. Should we do the Full Gear results right now then?
Yeah, let's do that, because I will first say this, man, I had a hard time because I didn't get home until late on Saturday, and I started watching it, and I fell asleep, and I had to try to watch it again on Sunday. But yeah, I had a hard time getting through it all. Although the things that I may not remember them, but there were some things that I definitely liked, and some things I definitely thought, what the hell?
Yeah, I think the overall consensus of what this pay-per-view is it was good.
Yeah.
I saw a few people claim best of the year for just pay-per-views. I saw some people claim best ever for AEW, but then I saw people too who were just kind of like, eh. And I do think there were some weird moments. But we'll run down the card. So on the pre-show, interesting enough, we have the NWA Women's World Championship match, which I love that they have these promotions being crossed over right now in the women's division. But again, and Tony Khan actually touched on it, I guess, in the media scrum of the women's division in AEW, but still, it's taken away. Like, I remember someone online, one of the sites was like, what is everybody's thoughts on the story, the lead up to Sheeta and Nyla? And I commented and said, what story?
Yeah.
There is no story. They're just fighting. Like 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, it was just said that they're going to have the match. Like, there's really been no lead to this. What are you talking about? So again, interesting that I feel like in the last month and a half, we've gotten way more of the NWA's women's title and division on AEW programming. So I don't know. I don't think Tony's answered the medium scrum when you heard him talk about it really answered anything either. I think he kind of said he wished he did better with the lead up to that match. But again, that's just one part of it. I mean, Riho disappears after she loses the title to never be seen again. Nothing's ever said. You've got, where the hell's been Britt Baker been? Where's Big Swole at? Where's, any little storyline that seemed to be taking shape kept getting just nixed. So I don't know. It seems like they're starting to build some more stuff now. So hopefully that's the change. But so you got Serena Deeb and Allison Kay. I didn't actually catch this match. Did you catch the pre-show match?
I did not, because it's not part of the pay-per-view.
Yeah, and I didn't.
So I'd have to go back and watch it.
I turned it on and it was like just ending.
So Allison Kay had the NWA title before Thunder Rosa.
Mm-hmm.
And Serena Deeb, I don't know. I mean, I watched her wrestle a couple of times. I mean, she's okay. But she's not Thunder Rosa.
No, she's not Thunder Rosa, but I do think she's a lot better than anybody gives her credit for. I think people get stuck with Serena Deeb and they're just like, oh, that was the bald chick with the straight edge crew and stuff. But the unfortunate part, she never really got to wrestle with the straight edge society.
Yeah.
When she was with CM Punk, and she really is a great wrestler. She's even taught over at the Performance Center. I'm sure she's teaching back over here. It's just a really good she's one of those ones that people like look up to her. I don't remember who, someone in, I think, Impact or ROH said a thing after this match, and it was like, oh, my dream, I'd love to make my dream match happen. That's me and Serena Deeb for the NWA's title. And Bailey even commented and was like, me first though.
Oh, nice.
So I mean, that's a good look when you got people in WWE throwing you some good comments. So, but yeah, Serena Deeb wins that match. I think that's going to just lead up to another her and Thunder Rosa. Wonder if that'll happen on AEW programming.
I don't know. Here's the thing, and not to get off the path too far, but I haven't heard anything about how NWA's pay per show. Yeah,
I haven't heard anything about they're doing tapings again, and that's all I've heard. So I don't know how that's working. It almost feels like, has anything even aired yet? I don't think it has, because
I don't think so. I mean, because I'm on their mailing list.
Yeah, so I
haven't seen anything.
It's a good way to keep their name out there. I'll give Billy Corgan that, but plus it's a good way to do it because, again, there's more talk about the NWA's division right now in a positive way than the AEW's one division.
Absolutely.
So, good for him on that one. Then kickoff match to the show. I was kind of surprised it was the first match, but I enjoyed it. AEW World Title Eliminator Tournament Final. Kenny Omega, Hangman Page. What'd you think of the match?
I thought it was fantastic. I mean, and to start the show with it was really good. I can't think of anything. I mean, so here's the thing, and I know Kenny's done this a couple of times with his lady sweepers, his sweeper dancers. I kind of think that's funny. But I don't know, and now that he's won, I don't know where that leaves him. I don't know if you watch Being the Elite. I don't know where that leaves Paige. It looks like Paige is going heel and rogue, and who knows what he's doing.
Yeah, I did see the Being the Elite where he like goes up to the Young Bucks locker room and then just walks away when they're all having a good time.
Yeah,
it was kind of funny. I get it. He's a loser. I don't know. Well, so I'll wait till we get to the Young Bud match to bring this up. But
yeah,
it was an interesting thing. It does leave question what to do with Paige, because he should always be a top guy. He's just that talented. So, but maybe they just have a little fun with him. Maybe they take this whole drinking thing and kind of maybe just make him like, to be honest, because you saw the Elite too, how it ended, or before how it ended at the end with him in Dark Order. So, I mean, maybe they bring him into Dark Order and he's just like, they're a little drunk. Because I think I saw on the last episode of BTE, the Halloween one, when they were doing all the stuff, the Dark Order in that room, someone was passed out on the bar in the background. And I was pretty sure it was Hangman the whole time. I might be wrong. Maybe I was just really seeing things in my head.
I have to go back and watch it again
when I was watching it. But I could have swore there was someone passed out on the bar behind Dark Order. And they never like lifted their head, but it looked like it might have been Hangman. Which then he walked in there on the next episode to pour the whiskey. So
we knew right where it was.
The other interesting thing, too, is how it's been entertaining to see Dark Order involved a lot more, but like I feel like they're really getting over right now, and none of it has to do with Brody Lee.
I know.
The guy's been MIA, so I don't know what's going on. Don't know. So Kenny Omega wins. Probably going to see him and Moxley in a rematch.
That'll be good. Will they hold that for the next pay-per-view?
My guess is, yeah. I mean, I'm pretty sure Omega's going to come out. See, that's my thing. Like, I wouldn't mind seeing a part 2 Omega Hangman, and maybe see Moxley beat Omega, but it's because Hangman maybe got involved. But to be honest, truth though, I don't think it's going to happen. I see Kenny Omega actually getting a title run.
Yeah,
Moxley's had the title for almost 300 and some days now.
I wonder where that leaves him, and I wonder where his contract lies.
From what I've heard, he's talked about not like he's AEW or nothing. So
yeah,
even
but
if
I mean, I'm not saying that he would go somewhere else. I'm just saying he might say, okay, I lost, I'm going away for a while.
He might, but I mean,
because now that Renee's not really doing anything, I don't know if they, obviously they may or may not have plans for a family.
That's true too. I don't know though. I think Renee is pretty set on getting back into broadcasting when her non-compete's done. I really do. I think she wants to channel, like, you see things she's interested in. She had her cookbook come out. I think she is a great host, and I think she knows that. So, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if like she's trying to eye a way to make her own show. Like,
makes sense.
Have her own talk show or something like that. Yep. The other thing too is obviously AEW's got to have interest in her. So, they're making an offer when her non-compete's done.
Oh, sure.
I don't see Moxley slowing down at this moment either.
But the only thing that I mean, because literally he came in, threw the bomb when he came in, and then won the title. And we've seen him do nothing but just hold the title. Mm-hmm. Which to me, it's like my mind says, what does he do around there when he doesn't have that belt?
Right. And I think that'll be cool. We'll have that chance to see, because I think he can have some really good feuds and storylines with some of the people back there that don't have to necessarily be a title shot.
That's true.
He's a guy that can sell emotion. He's done that with everything he's done. Yeah. Him and Eddie Kingston could have had a great match and an awesome build like they did for this pay-per-view, and it could have very well just been a match.
Right.
Title. And people would have still been interested and wanted to see it. So I think he'll be fine. I think we'll get to see some cool stuff actually when he's out of that title picture, but it'll be interesting. Orange Cassidy against John number 4 Silver. I'll tell you what, this John Silver is stealing the goddamn show. This guy is hilarious. He's great in the ring.
Johnny Hungy.
Johnny Hungy. Yeah, everything he does on like all the YouTube stuff, that anything he does with like BTE or if he's on any of the other blogs and just everything, dude. This guy is hilarious.
Yeah.
hilarious. You ever watch the Brandy does her little drinking cooking show on YouTube?
I do once in a while.
Yeah,
I did not watch the one with him on there though.
It was entertaining. It was very entertaining. He's a funny guy. And he's great. Like his character in the Dark Order and his place in the Dark Order is just fits him so perfectly. It really just does. It's nonstop. That's what I'm saying. Like they're over. They're all playing these great parts together. Evil Uno, like that whole group. You're seeing this awesome dynamic between them that's actually making people even maybe like they can maybe even turn Dark Order face with that group minus Brody Lee.
It's they're very similar to a ensemble sitcom.
Yes, very much so.
They've all got their spots and they're all doing them perfectly.
Very much so, except for Brody Lee.
Yeah.
And he's a big dude. To be honest, he doesn't need to be in a group or a faction or the leader. Yeah. So it would be cool to see them all overthrow him.
You know what'd be cool. And I don't know if this will happen, but what would be cool would be if Brody Lee and Hangman fought for the Exalted One of Dark Order.
That would be fun.
That would be fun.
I'm in for that. Yeah. So Cassidy wins. He beats Silver. Silver beats up an Orange on BET. Yeah. AEW TNT Championship. Cody Rhodes versus Darby Allin. Probably the surprise of the night. Darby Allin with the win and the new TNT champion.
Did not think that was going to happen, but I mean, I'll be honest with you. I'm glad that it did.
It was a shakeup for sure. Very much needed too. So it was cool. And it'll be interesting to see what Cody says tomorrow when he comes out. Technically he can't go after the AEW World Championship anymore. I'm sure there'll be some loophole for that down the line. You know what's interesting though? Cody keeps talking about how he says he's only doing 5 more years in the business. And I guess he said it again recently and then said he still wants to be in politics and wants to run for like Congress or some shit in 5 years in Georgia. So, we'll see what happens in 5 years. I think he'll be a little bit. I think in 5 years, if AEW can stay on pace, he may be a little too busy to walk away from that at that point. But maybe walk away from the ring part of it. But I think he'll still be there. You know what I mean?
I would assume.
So that'll be. I don't know what they're gonna do with Cody. It's gonna be interesting. I mean, I know what I'd like to see them do with Cody. And I don't know if it will happen. And I don't, so. But if anybody agrees, they should totally let AEW and Cody know. Because tomorrow on Wednesday, tomorrow on Dynamite, we're going to have a nice match of Tay Conte, who she's an amazing athlete, against Red Velvet in the ring. And I believe Anna Jay will be in Tay Conte's corner and Brandy Rhodes will be in Red Velvet's corner.
Yes.
So, very cool, very interesting. But I'd like to see Red Velvet and her boyfriend, Wes Briscoe, my boy, come in, and I think I'd like to see a little thing between the Rhodes and Briscoe and Red Velvet.
Yeah,
that would be a fun feud. Plus, just the Rhodes and Briscoes. It's a legendary talent in the world of wrestling. So it's
history, baby.
Oh, yeah, great to see it continue. So. That would be fun. But yeah, it'll be cool to see what they do at Cody, because what does he do now? Who's he gonna
exactly. I
feel like Brody Lee is gonna come back, because we never got a payoff to Anna Jay and Brandy.
No.
And they're still kind of involved since we're gonna see them ringside tomorrow night. So
I'm sure that's gonna fire up a little bit more too.
So maybe Brody Lee, we haven't seen him since he dropped the TNT title. So I hate Cody. He beat me. So maybe that's what we see tomorrow. We see Cody come out. He does his promo about congratulations, Darby, you were the better man. And then Brody Lee comes back and just knocks him out. And then we see that feud.
Yeah.
And then maybe in that feud, while that's happening, we can maybe see the defunct Dark Order. You know what I mean? Like they start to maybe pull away from Brody. And then that's where you can maybe see Hangman starting to be like, hey guys, come this way. So then you have it set up already. When Cody and Brody are done, you go into Hangman and Brody. We're writing this shit for them. I hope they're taking notes.
They'll do their own business.
Damn it, Tony Khan. Giving you gold. Gold, I say.
Fresh. It's fresh.
Better than this shit that happened next. And that's the AEW Women's Championship match. Shida versus Nyla Rose. Both great athletes. But geez, it was just missing this whole match. I didn't like it. I thought it was one of the worst women's title defense matches I've seen on a AEW pay-per-view.
I thought it was one of the worst AEW women's matches I'd seen.
Mm-hmm. It was,
and that would include Dark. It just, I mean, Shida has her shtick, and Nyla Rose has her shtick, and we've seen them 3 times or 4 times.
I want to say this is like the 4th match. I want to say this is,
and it's not. There's nothing new to it.
No, and that's just matches with Shida.
Right.
This is also her 3rd or 4th title match, Nyla?
Nyla Rose has had more title matches than I believe anybody else.
Right. So you see her drop. Now the thing is, again, too, there was really no build to this. There was,
and that had everything to do with the fact that it was easier to, look at it and say, "Oh, look at that flaw."
Which is such a missed opportunity, because when you have a mouthpiece like Vicky Guerrero involved in a feud, you should be able to turn that into something. And unfortunately, they just didn't. In fact, but they proved that you could have, because you have Vicky Guerrero involved, who is a veteran, knows how to talk on a mic, knows how to make things work out there in front of a crowd. And you saw that at the end of the match when she screamed at Nyla in the ring. So we already see now there's...
Here's the thing. I absolutely thought Nyla was going to deck Vicky.
It's too soon, though.
I understand, but I just, for me, here's the thing that I didn't like about all of that. Vicky blows up at the end, but she wasn't really blowing up too much during the match.
Mm-hmm.
She was like not doing much during the match, until she got involved a little physically, and then she loses her crap, and I'm like, she could have been madder at her about stupidity way earlier than that, like when she pulled Sheet up and didn't pin her.
Yeah, and I think that all has to do with the fact, though, that there was no lead.
It has. I mean, that's the whole thing. It's like you can't have a match out of nowhere that all of a sudden now you're trying to start to insert things as the match is going along, because it's too hard. There's no reason to follow it.
Well, to be honest, it really felt like this wasn't even necessarily the title match because the title was on the line. This really just felt like this whole match was just to set up what we're about to see between Vicky and Nyla, which is kind of sad when you're using your women's championship match to build a non-title feud thing. So that's weird, because if you had Vicky and Nyla for a good month or 2 before this match on Dynamite, like, we're gonna get you, and Vicky, getting in Sheeta's face, which it happened like a week or 2 before the match, but that was like it. There wasn't really anything there. We never really saw any promos happen between the two. Nothing. There should have been more. There just should have been more, which then would have made it believable when Nyla didn't win, why Vicky was so mad. But the fact of there was no lead, we didn't really see much other than she lost. So it was like, well, wait, why are you mad? This is really like her first loss under you. You know what I mean? So again, it's like they use this women's title match just to kind of build whatever we're going to see with Vicky and Nyla next. And that's sad, but hopefully this is the changing of the tides for the women's division. We'll see. Something's got to give. Next was probably the most anticipated match on that card, and that was the tag match for the titles. FTR, Young Bucks, an amazing match. I got a little upset seeing people online when they were like, they're just using all these other tag teams moves, and it's like, you're an idiot. No shit.
It's tribute, dipshits.
Doing the build of this is they're completely different. The Young Bucks are the new age. They come after like the Hardys and Edge and Christian and those extreme high flying teams, where FTR is coming from like the Minnesota Wrecking Crew and old school guys. That was why, and that's why we saw all these tributes, the Steiners, the Hardys, whatever. It was awesome. So anybody who was like, this is, and then the later one at the end, the shout out to DIY, which was a nice touch, because that's a team that all 4 of these guys had dealt with. So it was tribute and respect, and that's people who are nitpicking that too are people who I've seen that were like the same people who go to defend like the retribution shit on WWE. So it's like they're
not really familiar with wrestling.
That, or it's just like, just be honest and say you don't like anything but WWE. It's what you watch, and that's fine if you admit it. But don't say you're a big wrestling fan if you're going to tear everyone down but Vince. You know what I mean? That's just weird.
I just overall, I just thought it was fantastic, and that's the one that I just was like, man, and it was so good, and there were so many times when I was watching it that it reminded me of old NWA, AWA, and yet here you get the Bucks doing the high flying moves as well, and so it's very fresh. But gosh, it was just fantastic, and FTR was so good at using the old heel style. It was man, and there were in some of the stuff that they were doing aside from that. God, both of them just, I mean, they left it all out there. It was probably, I would say, in 2000, it was probably one of the top, easily a top 10 match, if not a top 5.
Yeah, most definitely, dude. It was crazy. I love how I like the story too. They really played the injury angle and what very well. It was just a really well put together match. Surprising to see the Young Bucks get the win, because the word is the injury is legitimate. So it's weird to put your titles on somebody who may have to go get surgery.
I'll tell you. Here's the other thing I thought that talking about injuries. The other thing that I thought was absolutely fantastic, and smart in a storytelling way, was how Harwood's hand got busted open. And because you always see the juice on the head, but you never see something like, oh man, his hand's cut. It's like it was such a fresh take on getting busted open.
Isn't it sad by doing like old school storytelling in the ring is a fresh take now?
I know. Isn't it? But it was. I just thought that was so good.
It was an amazing match. It was cool to see the Young Bucks win. The sad part about this though is it's starting to sound like that's it for FTR already in AEW. So
are you kidding me?
Nah, but they put stuff out online that kind of was insinuating that. That's that's my thing, Dan. First of all, welcome back, Dan. We haven't seen you in a while, so it's good to see you.
Hope you're doing well, buddy.
Yeah. I don't see them holding that title long because of that injury, but it'll be interesting to see what they do to take the title off them. But they've been putting out some like cryptic social media stuff after that match, kind of insinuating like they're going to be out of AEW now. Maybe not for good, but it sounds like they may be leaving. I guess they've been pretty open about wanting to be tag team champs around the world. When they left WWE, so maybe they're going to go do like a stint in Japan for a little while, or hit up Impact or NWA or ROH or something. Kind of work their way around, maybe hopefully work their way back to AEW too. Because that was a great match though, man.
It was
good stuff. We have the Elite Deletion match, Matt Hardy versus Sammy Guevara at the Hardy compound.
A lot of stuff about that I liked.
I heard a lot of people not like the commentary. What did you think? Not that they just didn't like the commentary, but it was more of that was supposed to be more of a cinematic-y type thing. And we had commentary during the Deletion match.
So the commentary, for me, it didn't distract me too much, but it was a bit out of place. Although they have been, like some of these other things that they're doing, they have been calling it. Like they called when they did the what was it? Touchdown Stampede or whatever the hell it was they called it out on the field. Stadium Stampede. They did call that. Mm-hmm. So I like for me, I wasn't that distracted. I didn't feel like it was that much out of place.
I didn't either. It was crazy though. A lot of fireworks going on in a lot of burnable areas.
The fireworks I thought were crazy.
Now, if I remember correctly, though, when he did this with an Impact with his brother, I believe they did. Maybe
I think
not
they did
exactly
too.
the same thing, but I think they did the fireball thing.
Yeah.
But man, that was, and I like that they had. So it was interesting that we see Private Party and Santana Ortiz get involved, which I'm all for because I love Santana Ortiz. The wild cards is for that we see Hurricane, which wild card because no one really expected him, but he has been involved in a lot of the Hardy stuff, so not a huge surprise. And then Gangrel out of nowhere.
Gangrel was I was like, holy shit. Absolutely.
Which also I mean, I guess maybe just it's a throwback to the Brood days and the feud with the Brood, but again, I did not see. I don't know. It was just crazy, but it was fun.
Reason for it, but I didn't care.
It was fun. It was a good time.
And I liked. I thought it was funny how you heard the splash when you thought he threw Hurricane into the lake, and then he came back as a reporter. That was good.
Yeah. So Hardy wins that match. I think fun times had by all. MJF versus Chris Jericho was next. Winner, if MJF wins, he gets to join the inner circle. I think everybody saw this, and that was that MJF was going to beat Chris Jericho. He's going to put him over.
Yeah.
This is now how we can start to work Chris Jericho back into babyface mode, which is where I think they're going. So yeah, good fun match. It was cool. Glad Wardlow and Hager got involved in that as well. Just it's nice to see that they have their big men back them up, and I'm excited to see what happens on Dynamite now because I keep thinking that this is all just a swerve where MJF's gonna just be like, I don't need to join the damn inner circle, which I hope he does because that also will then help build this babyface Jericho.
Absolutely.
And so I'm excited to see how that goes tomorrow.
I can't say enough that this is one of those where the possibilities are such that it's going to be so fun to see what actually happens.
I think so too. It's going to be a good time. And then we had our main event, the AEW World Championship match, Moxley, Eddie Kingston, and I quit match. Moxley wins. Eddie says he quits. A hard hitting match. Good stuff. Eddie Kingston. I'll tell you what, I love Eddie Kingston. I do get when people are like, hey man, Eddie Kingston wouldn't kill to hit the gym a little bit. And hey man, he can do whatever the hell he wants. I don't care. I'll say this, if he got in a little better shape though, imagine how much more unstoppable he'd be.
Oh God, yeah.
Dude, I mean, that's the thing though with him is he don't hold back. He can't. When you don't look that way, you got to go all out then in the ring, and he does that. And man, like I said, this could have been a match that didn't have the title on there, and I'd have still been invested.
I was I was loving the whole thing. There were things that they did that made me cringe, like wrapping up the barbed wire around the fist. There was just so much choking him out with the barbed wire. I mean, or what? It was the whole thing was beautiful and brutal. But that's what we've come to expect with Moxley. And Eddie Kingston's just got something. I mean, if we were going to go back and do our most underrated wrestlers again, I would certainly have him on there.
Ooh, we got our first change list.
Oh, dude. He is much better than he gets credit for, certainly. And I mean, here's the thing. I enjoyed him on NWA. When they were doing Power, he was on there, but he was not wrestling. He was in essence, he was the mouthpiece, like he had been with Butcher Blade and the Luchas. He was that mouthpiece with one or two tag teams, and then all of that sort of fell apart because of the COVID. But
thank God, because if it didn't, who knows if he would have been in AEW right now?
Well, that's just it. And I think he belongs there as much as anybody on that roster.
For sure, man. He's amazing. And it was fun to watch. I can't wait to see what he does next because they can do anything with Eddie Kingston. He's going to make it entertaining and go all out when he does his match. So I think overall it was a good pay-per-view. I don't remember what we grade on. Do we do
I
numbers?
think we do. I think we do A through F.
Yeah, we do A through F. So I'll give it like a B.
Yeah, I would agree.
Nothing was crazy, but when we get into these lists, these are going to be all A shows for me. I'm going to have my reasonings though.
I have my reasonings, and for those of you that are watching, our list tonight is our top favorite pay-per-views of all time. And now, when we talked about it last week, what we decided was that they're just our favorites. We're not trying to rank them. We're not trying to say, "Oh, this is better because." These are our favorites. And
Yeah.
I can't speak for you, but for me, and I told you this last week, I had two just pop right into my head as those are the most memorable pay-per-views of my being a wrestling fan. And the other one I put in there is there because it's very significant, and I also remember it very well. But there are plenty that are not on our lists. But at any rate, you know what? I do have an intro, so I don't want to screw it up by not playing it. So this week we're going to do our favorite pay-per-views, and it's coming out right. Oh God! So you know what? That's why we have editing materials.
Yeah, just hit play on the thing.
All righty, there we go. There, and I could have just done that without. Anyway, point being, so in terms of our favorite pay-per-views, these are personal. These are not. I don't know about you. I can't speak for Ace, but for me, it's just my own personal preference, and I will tell you the reasons why. Do you want to start, or do you want me to start? I'm happy to do either.
Yeah, I'm good with whatever.
All right, so I'll go first. And the first, my third most favorite pay-per-view is All Out from Double or Nothing from 2019, and I liked it because of many things, but the appearance of Moxley at AEW after this fantastic Jericho Omega match. And everything that happened out. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I watched that last 10 minutes of this pay-per-view. Just because I just couldn't get enough of it. And this was the kickoff to what I figured thought was something great. And it really has been. It's just it's one of my favorite moments in all of wrestling when Moxley comes out of the crowd and not only paradigm shifts Jericho, but then gets into it with Omega. Just absolutely fantastic to me. And that's my number 3 one there.
That would have been the first actual AEW, right? Because they had All In.
Right. All In.
Or Nothing and then All Out. And so Double or Nothing, this one in Vegas, was the actual first AEW pay-per-view.
Yep.
Because All In technically was not all Elite Wrestling.
Right. All In was still indie or ROH combined. However you'd like to. I'm gonna just pop this out here quick. Let me pull this down because I'm gonna put Dan's up here. Dan was you're a WCW guy, man. Starrcade 86, War Games 86, and 87. Those are all 3 good ones.
Yeah, I'm all for any War Game pay-per-view. Those things are always great. Especially those old school ones, man. When you get like Flair, the Horsemen, Sting, all those guys, Dusty. Oh man, that's good stuff.
I'll say this, and I don't know, I can't recall because so many years have gone by, but I can't remember which one it was where they closed Flair's head in the cage, and he bled, and it was just like, I mean, they were slamming it, and I was just like, again, so memorable to me. It's right. Like, holy crap! And I always think about that when they do the cage matches.
Right.
But anyway, that was my number 3, Double or Nothing, 2019. And your number 3.
Yeah, you can put it up. I don't remember my order on. Okay, that's what I thought it was. Yeah, All In, man. I mean, it was like the first real big pay-per-view outside of WWE and outside of a major promotion, because Impact, ROH, they've done their stuff too. But this was the first that really brought like some different independent companies together. All the talk that was surrounding this, Metzler saying they would never sell out a 10,000 arena. They do it. You had Aldis and Cody. You had the tag match could have been better because of the time, but it's all right. But you had some really good stuff on there. I remember Matt Cross versus MJF was one of the early matches in that one. That was just fun to watch. SCU and there against Stephen Amell. Or sorry, Christopher Daniels versus Stephen Amell, Tessa Blanchard, Britt Baker, Chelsea Green, and Madison Rayne in a 4-quarter survivals match. Those are 4 very big names in women's wrestling, right there.
SCU. This is also, and I don't want to get off of your list, but SCU had a match in the pre-show against the Briscoes from ROH, and as I recall, that was fantastic. And the over budget battle royal in the buy-in, or was it did they have it? They call it the buy-in. Anyway, in the pre-show that was on WGN.
Yeah, I think the whole first hour was on WGN actually too.
Yeah, but it was the pre-show was fantastic as well. Anyway, go ahead.
They went all out because they didn't know if it was going to happen again. You had Hangman Page against Janela in that Chicago street fight. Jay Lethal versus Flip Gordon. Omega versus Penta, where Jericho ends up coming in at the end.
Yeah,
Okada and Skrull. And then the Golden Elite, Ibushi and the Young Bucks versus Bandito, Rey Fenix, and Rey Mysterio. And it just set the tone for what it became AEW. So it's just a history-making pay-per-view. And it was just a lot of fun to watch because at the time it really was like, oh, man, I don't know. I don't know if they're going to pull it off. And then when the tickets sold and then you started seeing the match announcements come, it was just like, man, this is going to be a heavy-hitting show.
Absolutely.
And it was.
Fantastic. All right. My number 2 favorite pay-per-view is going to be WrestleMania 18. And the reason is, there were some other good matches on there, like Undertaker and Flair was actually pretty good. But the thing, again, I go back to memories that are just like automatically come to me. The Rock versus Hogan. My God, when it's supposed to be heel Hogan, but everybody's on his side. And that's another one. I watched it over and over and over, and I've watched it again and again. And the way that the crowd gets on Hogan's side, and it's freaking just, it's beautiful to me. One of the coolest events and stories that they've ever done, and just one of my favorites between 2 of the top legends of wrestling. So that's it. Number 3, 18, WrestleMania. You're number 2.
Yeah, man, WrestleMania 3. It's like the earliest memory I have. I do vaguely remember seeing WrestleMania, I think 1 and 2. I just remember I definitely remember 2 because I remember seeing Piper and Mr. T as a little boxing. But this was like kind of the first one where I remember like the whole show as a little kid. And this was kind of like the beginning of what became an ugly addiction to the wrestling world. So anyways, WrestleMania 3. Plus it was just historic, man. It was a story.
Most people ever at a wrestling match.
Yeah, 93,173 in attendance. It was at the Pontiac Silverdome, brother. Which I gotta say, when I was at Mania 30 and he did the whole "here at the Silverdome, brother," the reaction in the crowd was, everybody was just like, "It's the fucking Superdome." Like people were like yelling and you see his reaction. He didn't realize it at first. It was hilarious. Yeah. Man, yeah, dude, you got the Can-Man connection. Rick Martel and Tom Zank versus Bob Orton and Magnificent Morocco. You got Billy Jack Haynes and Hercules with Bobby Heenan, the Haiti Kid, Hillbilly Jim, Little Beaver against King Kong Bundy, Little Tokyo.
Now that right there, before we go any further, that match,
3 minutes and 25 seconds. That match.
But that is, as far as I can remember, that is the last time that dwarves wrestling were shown on television, I think.
No.
Well, when?
We TLC, bro.
Oh, that's not. I don't count that.
What?
I mean, in a major promotion.
That was on WWE TLC, dude.
No.
Hornswoggle versus the fucking Bull.
No, that doesn't count. That bull's not a dwarf.
For how entertaining that match was, you gotta count it. You gotta count it, because that was probably the best thing that happened that night.
I will say this: if you go through the list of those wrestlers, 3 out of those 4 wrestlers have little in their name.
I mean, that doesn't mean anything. There's like 100 rappers that have little in their name now.
But dude, I'm just saying, it's. I
mean, I agree to disagree, because I'm always going to count We TLC as legitimate. The next match was Harley Race versus Junkyard Dog. Loser must bow match with Heenan and the Fabulous Moolah. That was great. I
remember that one. That one was good.
The Dream Team, you got Beefcake and Greg Valentine with Dino Bravo and Johnny Valiant. The names on this card is just great. Against the Rougeau brothers, the Jacques and Roman Rougeau. And then you had another great match, hair versus hair match, actually. And that was Rowdy Roddy Piper against Adrian Adonis.
Yeah.
A great feud. Another 6-man with Dangerous Danny Davis and the Hart Foundation against the British Bulldogs and Tito Santana. Again, the names on this card is just sick, dude. Butch Reed, Coco Beware, you got, and then again, one of the greatest matches in professional wrestling ever, Steamboat Savage.
Yeah.
That night, you had Honky Tonk Man against Roberts, Sheik and Nikolai Volkov against the Killer Bees, Brian Blair and Jim Brunzell, and then of course, the immovable object against the irresistible force, and Hogan slamming Andre and officially taking the torch, as they say.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I just popped Dan's comment up because I get behind and I'm busy.
Oh no, you're good. I remember that. Yeah, he flew like overnight. I think it was on one of the vlogs where he I think it was maybe the Being Elite vlog for that one, where they show him flying in and getting painted up and stuff.
Yeah.
Which was great too, because that was to build heat for the cruise, the very first cruise.
Yeah.
So watching it that night, and I'm sure Dan, you can agree, it was like, ooh, that's for us, because we're there. Chris, how's it going, man? Welcome to the show. Hey, I hope everything's going well. Hope you got good news. Hope everything's good with puppers, man. I know it's been a long couple days for you, bud. So Hogan and Giant, great. WrestleMania 3 historic making as well. One of the best ever.
And Bobby Heenan was in, I can't tell you how many of those matches he was involved in. What, 4?
Yeah, he was in 3 or 4 of those ones.
And that was fantastic. And then you had Bob Uecker was the
man, that's
good,
great.
Very good.
Good, dude. We're happy for you guys.
Bob Uecker and Mary Hart were the special guest commentators. Mm-hmm. And that is where one of the funniest things ever is when Andre's gigantic hands are around Uecker's head, and he's just that is just one of the funniest things ever.
Yeah, that rematch heat, man, it was sick. Yeah, because that was after the New Japan match. So I mean, that was a special card, man. That all-in show. That was a special show. Could have maybe done without the Army of Penises during the Joey Ryan match.
That was the only thing. And you and I have talked about this. That's when the Andre and Uecker, holy cow, man. But that's the only thing about that all-in that I wouldn't have wanted to have for example, my grandson watch. I would have been pissed.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Well, that's why Joey Ryan never signed with anybody, because he knew he wouldn't get away with that on network television. And look what happened.
Yep.
So whatever. Yeah. What's your number one, man?
My number one favorite pay-per-view of all time, and you got to know this is coming, is Bash at the Beach '96, because of that heel turn. And that heel turn is like that turned wrestling on its head.
Man, I tell you, it's funny because with my last pick and then your pick here, it's really like I said, mine kind of cemented Hulkamania, and yours is the killing of Hulkamania.
Yeah,
it's great.
Yeah,
and then he just killed everything after this.
I say, but I mean, here's in it's funny because I say I'm not a fan of Hulk Hogan, and part of that comes because in hindsight he turned out to be kind of a douche.
You're not a fan of me, brother.
Yeah, there you go. But 3 of our top 6 contain Hulk Hogan. And this was the best. And I tried to make sure that this picture showed the ring with all the garbage in it. Mm-hmm. Because when people started raining down trash on that, and the security must have been told, let them throw it. I never seen anything like that.
Right.
And it was such a surprise. And it literally was history making. Yeah. And so that is when anybody said, what's your favorite pay-per-view? That's always the first one.
Darn right, man. That's a good one. It'll be fun too. If you watch it back, it's so fun to watch that one back. It's you see, they're not doing Bash at the Beach this year for AEW. They're doing a beach break.
Oh,
interesting, huh?
Well, that'll be something.
Yeah, we'll see how that turns out. All right. So yeah, my number 1, and mine is super personal as far as why it's one of my favorites.
Mm-hmm.
It's mainly because I was there.
Okay.
But it's WrestleMania 28 out in Miami. So this my first Mania I ever went to was WrestleMania 26. And if you've never been to a WrestleMania and you've been a hardcore wrestling fan, if you've watched all the Manias and you've just followed everything, when you walk into a Mania, like for the first time in person, there's a feeling, you know what I mean? Like,
yep.
Everything kind of takes over. It's like when you see like something that's just so beautiful and it takes your breath away. It's almost like that because you walk in and you're like, this is something I've watched my whole life.
Yeah.
I've always dreamed of being at it one day. And I am literally standing here looking at the set, at the people filing in, and I'm in the middle of it. Like, it's an amazing feeling that first time you walk in and see a Mania. So again, this wasn't my first though, because I went to 26, didn't do Georgia because I was like, I don't know why, but just didn't. But as soon as the day after, and they announced the Cena Rock match for Miami 1 year later,
yeah,
I made my mind up that night. I was like, I'm going. I've always been a Rock mark. The dude's one of the best. Top 3 for me for sure of all time wrestlers. It's just always been one of my favorites. He really has. So to me, it was like, I've got to go see this. Got to see him beat Cena, right? Because that's what's going to happen, right? Yeah. You're not going to put Cena over the Rock. That's crazy. So anyways, we go to Miami for WrestleMania. And first of all, the trip itself was just amazing. I got to have some really good times with great friends, met many new friends, got to catch up with people from all over the world that I only see when we would be at Mania. And it was just, it was great. Good friend to the show, Adam Daly. This is the night we met. Night this pay-per-view happened. That's the day we met. Lifelong friendship after that. So it was a special weekend, but the show, while having it's really just like what the shit spots, and there's just a lot of good things that happened on this show. But really the things that stood out, Sheamus beats Daniel Bryan for the World Heavyweight Championship in 18 seconds. I didn't see it happen. I just saw the pin. You got a Kane and Randy Orton match. That was a good match. Big Show beats Cody Rhodes for the IC title, which was fun. Kelly Marina Menounos against Beth Phoenix, Eve Torres. Many people probably rolling eyes at this match, but what's interesting to note about this match is Maria Menounos, who, if you don't know who she is, she's she's on like E Entertainment. Like she was
a reporter for the time at was it E or was it Entertainment Tonight?
Entertainment. I think it's Entertainment Tonight. So I mean, not a wrestler, but a lifelong fan. She's been very open that she's a lifelong fan and has done things with WWE, led to this match. She was in Dancing with the Stars the same time this match happened, and she actually had like a broken rib from Dancing in the Stars and some other injury and still wrestled.
Gosh.
And again, she's not even a wrestler. Like, she was doing a one-off. So, and she looked good in that match. If you go back and watch it and you take all that into account, she looked good. So props to Maria Menounos. We had the Hell in the Cell end of an era match. Undertaker, Triple H, Michaels is the guest referee. Man, just the emotion and the crowd reactions throughout this match. That's what makes these things special too, is because I was there. This may have not made my list if I wasn't there in person.
Yeah,
to be honest with you. But being there in person and being a part of it, oh my gosh, that was just, it really was the feeling of end of an era, which we all know that it turned out not to be. But we won't talk about that. But I mean, it was, and the match was great. You didn't know where they were going to go. That's the thing with Taker. This was his fourth straight, like, great match at Mania when he was at an age you didn't think you'd get that.
right.
The two with Michaels were both A+. The one in 27 with Triple H was great. This was amazing, and it involved all of them. Shawn was perfect in it. It was just a great match. It really was one you can always go back and watch. Punk versus Jericho for the WWE Championship. Another great match, just because that's two super talented guys in the ring. And then, of course, The Rock versus Cena as the main event. His first match back in, I think they said, was it 13 years at the time?
Something like that.
I can't remember. And technically, it wasn't like his first match back because he did Survivor Series as Cena's partner months before this match. But it was his first singles match. Obviously, a year of build. People thought, I don't know what your thoughts were on this, but I was like, I don't know how they're going to do this for a full year. And, you know, they did what everybody thought they were going to do and not talk about it for a few months. And then as they sprinkle it in, and then as we got closer, but as we got closer and you saw the switch from Rumble to Mania and the actual road to Mania for these two, you were getting, I mean, the promos between these two and seeing that they really didn't like each other.
Yeah.
Seeing it play out in front of you on screen and seeing the shots they were taking and how real they were making it. And then the match wasn't awful. It wasn't great by any means. I'm not going to give it like 5 stars, but it was good. But the thing about it is the emotions that were going on in that stadium were amazing. And the other thing is, I've never been in an outdoor stadium that it felt like an earthquake. When Rock won, it felt like we were in the middle of an earthquake inside the stadium because it was just shaking from everyone screaming, the fireworks, the songs playing. I think I flipped off a few little John Cena fan kids behind me and laughed in their face. That probably actually happened. But that's the other thing. That match, what they did good about it is they really did play with you. You thought it was going either way numerous times. When he was doing the rock bottom, when he was setting up to do that rock bottom on him,
yeah,
the Rock or Cena on the Rock, and he was going to beat the Rock. When he was set, I was just standing there like, if they literally put Cena over using the rock bottom, I don't know if I can watch this shit anymore. Like, it might have lost me as a fan because you don't do that. You don't do that. He ain't as good as the Rock. But then when you saw the Rock kick up, especially when you were there, I mean, that was where you were like, oh, he's gonna do it. And then he wins the match, and it was just, oh my gosh, that crowd was so hot that night.
Yeah,
won that match. Because if he would have lost, dude, it would have been bad. People would not want Cena to win that night. Now, my one gripe with all of this is they did paint a beautiful picture for that being once in a lifetime.
Yeah.
And then they shit on it next year in New York and made The Rock lose. You can still have Cena be your top guy. Which then the next night this was in Miami the next night when Brock Lesnar makes his return to WWE and just kills John Cena, which that was another thing. That next night at Raw, which made this trip great, is we knew Brock was there. The entire town knew Brock was there Sunday night, Monday. So going into the arena for Raw that night, everybody knew it. That's why when Cena cut the promo, the whole arena was chanting Brock because everybody knew he was there. And even when that music hit again, I thought we were like third deck. I thought we were going to come down because that arena was just shaking the minute that hit. Oh my God. And then when he Cena, like, it was nuts, dude. It was so nuts, man. And I don't think there is a Money in the Bank that night. No, that would have been the next year when Ziggler cashed in on Raw that night. But it's just, for me personally, it's just a favorite because my guy came back, he won, he beat the guy I didn't like, and I have so many memories from that week and that night. So,
oh yeah. Well, I think we came up with a pretty good list.
That was a pretty good list.
And I certainly can't dispute any of your choices.
No, and that's what's fun, is these are legitimately just our personal favorites. And that's what's fun about this, because if you guys are watching, let us know yours as you do it, and we'll talk about it too. We're not trying to say these are we're not those guys. We're not the Metzlers or the Afters or, like Wade Kellers or we're not any of those guys. We're just guys who like to talk wrestling. So these are just off of what we like. You know what I mean? Like, we're not telling you that these are like A+ top to bottom card best
No,
paper.
definitely not.
These just, for whatever reason, are our favorites.
I mean, obviously WrestleMania 3 had the Hillbilly Jim
midget match. I mean, come on.
Match.
I kind of want to go watch BTLC now, though.
Well, now I'm going to have to.
I mean, even like the 3-man band sold that crap well when the little midget guys are feeding them up. Like, it was good. It was really good. And then the mini announce team.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It was amazing.
Yeah.
Bull, but it's amazing.
What was a bull's name? Totino's or Toritos or Dorito?
I think it was Torita. He still wrestles. I think it's in Tennessee. It's called Micro Wrestling.
Oh, he's on Micro?
He's on the Micro Wrestling crew. Yeah. So when they came to town a couple of years ago, he was here. Yeah.
Now I'll tell you what, I think if I remember correctly, WrestleMania 5, when it was Hogan and Warrior, I remember seeing a story about that, how from the dressing room to the ring was so far away that by the time, because Warrior always ran full speed the whole way, sprinted to the ring. By the time he got to the ring, he was already gassed.
He was blown up when he got into the ring.
Yep.
And I want to say there was a story too that Sid Vicious almost made his queue time because of that. How long? Maybe it wasn't him. Maybe it was Papa Shango, because Papa Shango got involved in that. Or no, wait, no, I'm sorry. That I'm thinking 6 Vicious Hogan. Yeah, no. Was it that big at 5?
I think it was.
Oh yeah, because that was the Sky Dome. Yeah, that was.
Yeah.
I do remember watching that and being very not happy that Hogan lost, because I was.
I was not. I wasn't happy he lost.
I was still in my Hulkamania phase at that point. Yeah. Plus, I don't know. I think as a kid, I kind of saw through the all Warrior bullshit and was like, everybody knows this guy makes no sense, right? He's like,
yeah.
I don't know what he's doing. But you know what, though? I don't ever want to talk bad about him, because he was a really polarizing figure as far as, like, you knew who the Ultimate Warrior was.
And that's what you need.
Yeah, man. And I mean, he made memories. I was at the Raw the night before he passed. And I mean, it was crazy, because I said to somebody with me at that show next to me, I was like, he don't look good. And we were in the upper deck. So I'm watching him on the big screen of the arena scoreboard, and even I was looking at people like, am I just seeing, like, he doesn't look good? And then whatever happened the next day happened, but it was just trippy. But yeah, man, that was a good list. We're gonna do a Survivor Series list, but I think we're gonna hold off one more week since Survivor Series is still 2 weeks away.
All right, let's do that.
Yeah, man. So
next week. Well, Dan, you're still here. What would you like us to do a list of? And then you'll be able to think about it and participate with us next week. If you can think of something that you think would be a good list. I know that we've done just in the recent past, so we don't redo them. We've done announced teams, we've done tag teams, we've done factions. There's plenty of other things to do.
yeah, otherwise, if no one throws any suggestions out, we can go top 3 finishers.
Oh, that's different. because some of the finishers are the same thing, but just with different names.
Mm-hmm. So who did it better to you? I know, because honestly, I was like, well, I mean, the Stone Cold Stunner is going to always be one of the best finishers because it's the Stone Cold Stunner. But, there's a million people who use the Stunner.
Well, I mean, obviously, anybody that uses a sharpshooter or a Scorpion Deathlock isn't going to win.
All right, well, let's do that. We'll do top three.
We'll do top three finishing moves.
But it has to be tied to the person, though. So you can't cop out and say sharpshooter and then start listing everybody who's used it.
Oh, no. That's what I'm. Yeah.
So that's what we'll do for next week. Otherwise, man.
Now, are we talking about just singles or are we talking about tag teams?
Let's just keep it for singles for now.
We'll do it. Sweet chin music.
Yeah. We have our list now. Look at this.
Or a super kick.
Right. We're going to try to do some WWE, but I think at this point, let's just end the show here and we'll come back next week with it.
Sounds like a good idea. Dan, Chris, everybody else is watching. So I know some of you are watching and don't like to comment. That's fine. We love to see you. We love to see that you're watching us. We appreciate it very, very much. You guys have a great week. Enjoy AEW next tomorrow. And if you're watching any of the WWE, we'll try to cover some of that next week as well. But we appreciate it very, very much. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, man.
Who if you can't get by without your pup, you just got it. They're your family.
Yeah, for sure, bro. Yeah, definitely.
Sweet chin music. Oh, that's different.
There you go. Yeah.
Dan, kick him in. Is it Orange Cassidy should have sweet shin music? To be honest,
I think didn't Swaggle used to do this?
I mean that was his. Yeah.
Yeah, man. I don't know if I have a show or not on Thursday. I think we were planning on it, but I don't know if it's going to happen. So watch me, Wes Briscoe. We might have another Briscoe and Big A show Thursday. If we don't, though, you can go on YouTube or on the VOC Radio Nation at vocnation.com to get the audio versions of our recent episodes. Had another good talk last week, so you can check it out on there as well. And then, yeah, you will be back next week.
Sounds good. I have nothing coming up unless you want to watch me produce a show with a two-time vice presidential candidate for the Green Party, Winona LaDuke. That'll be through the University of Arkansas next week on Monday. Otherwise, any shows that I had have been live shows anyway, live comedy shows have all been canceled. I had one set for next week on Saturday in Western Wisconsin. Thankfully, due to the spikes in COVID, it's been canceled. So
yeah, if it keeps going the way it's going up here where we live, you guys just might get some extra content from us because we might have a lot of extra time.
My biggest problem is I'm working at the airport at night now.
Wow, that's right.
Yeah. So anyway, all right, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. We appreciate it very, very much. Take care of yourselves. Stay healthy, stay safe, and we will see you again next time. Bye-bye.